Hi, welcome to the Find Your Edge podcast, a Horizons Edge podcast with me, your host, Jackson Lohr, where we talk about sports, people in them, and their stories.
All right, so here we are. Thank you guys for coming in today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Just want to kind of talk about how did you guys get started into spike ball first off? Either of you.
I'll lead us off. So Alli and I both learned about spike ball in summer of 2013.
Okay.
We were at a music festival in Pennsylvania with our youth group.
Nice.
And one of our friends stumbled across a spike ball tent, and they were hosting like little mini tournaments throughout the week.
Okay.
And so we went and learned how to play. Guys there taught us how to play, and we joined a few tournaments and got hooked. Really loved it. Our whole youth group, or most of our youth group, got really into it.
Nice.
And we brought a couple sets back home with us and played throughout the rest of that summer, and really enjoyed it. And that was kind of our first exposure.
Cool. So you guys have known each other how long?
We went to high school together, so
Yeah.
since 2010.
Okay.
2009.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
The longer story is we were actually high school rivals, and then both of our high schools were running out of funding and merged,
Oh, no way.
which was initially a horrible thing to happen.
Wait, where was this?
This is in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What schools?
I went to Living Word Academy, and Alli went
To Lancaster Christian School.
Okay.
to became
Yeah.
Lancaster County Christian School.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
Okay.
initially the worst thing ever, merging with your rivals and
Yeah.
having to play on the same sports team as the people that you remember.
And so then how long did it take from, all right, introduction 2013, right?
Yeah.
To spike ball, how long did it take you get from there to, professional players, top ranked players?
Yeah.
What does that look like for you guys?
I think it took us 3 years. 2016 was
Wow.
our first national championship.
Okay.
2015 we also played in a national championship. It's hard to talk about because we got second place.
Ah,
But Beck also had a torn ACL at the tournament,
Yeah.
and we still got second. So
Oh
that's
my
also
gosh.
kind of a win, but we would have loved to.
so you tore it
Yeah.
and kept playing.
I had torn it like a month prior.
Oh, okay.
And just hadn't had surgery yet. So
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
we didn't want to give up the national championship.
Ugh.
That was also the first ever women's division.
Yeah.
right, okay.
So there were 13 women's teams. So it wasn't super competitive.
Yeah.
We had just started playing tournaments that year, so we were really
Yeah.
new. Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, we didn't play really at all from summer of 2013 to end of summer of 2013. We both went to college and didn't bring it with us and didn't really play much until the following summer, and then we kind of picked it back up again. And then that year we brought it back to school with us
Okay.
and started playing at our college.
Gotcha.
So really we learned about it in 2013 and then had almost a year break before we started playing regularly again, and then started playing in tournaments after that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. And so in 2016, you won the nationals.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was the first one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so what does that look like? In 2016, did they have a world championship?
No, this
Okay.
year was the first ever.
This was the first
Yeah.
ever. So you
Yeah.
guys are the first ever world champions
First ever.
Yeah.
in the female
Yeah.
division.
Yeah.
Nice. That is
Crazy.
awesome.
Yeah.
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 Congratulations.
Very cool.
That's pretty sweet. I don't think I've said that yet.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, so did you guys play any other sports in high school? You guys athletes before? Was there a time before around that?
Yes.
There was.
Yes. Yeah. We both played field hockey, soccer, and basketball.
Okay.
In high school.
Yeah, so we went to a smaller school, so that was the gift of going to a small school, is you could play every sport.
Yep.
So we played everything that was possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything that was available
Yeah.
to us. We played on the same team, which is great for team building. And then we actually went to the same college.
Right.
I played club soccer in college, and initially that was like competing with spike ball or round net in my mind, but I was all soccer until one day I literally quit the team to go to a tournament. I
Yeah.
was like, okay, all right, I think I'm gonna take this seriously now.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, and yeah, we played like pickup volleyball and that sort of thing at college. We just loved
Yeah. We
sports.
both really enjoy
Yeah.
any sports.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Now, help me clear this up, and you can clear this up for our listeners as well, right?
Yeah.
So, my perception until 2 months ago was, all right, there's the sport of spike ball, but that's not correct.
That's
Right,
wrong.
that is not correct.
All right. So round net is the sport.
Yeah.
Spike ball is just the producer of the equipment.
Yeah, the brand.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
similar to tissue and Kleenex.
Right. Okay.
Kleenex?
Yes.
Yeah,
Kleenex makes
tissue
tissue.
is
Right.
the noun, the object, I
Yeah.
guess.
Right.
And the brand is Kleenex.
Okay.
So yeah, once spike ball really started growing and as a sport started taking off, the brand needed to differentiate between the brand and the sport,
Right.
or else spike ball would just become the sport and
Right.
they would no longer be able to use that as a brand name.
Oh,
So-
okay. So spike ball did come
Yeah.
first.
Spike ball
It was
was
a
first.
game.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Spikeball Inc. is the company and they make spikeball sets.
Yeah.
But as it kind of gained traction, then, you know, for just to keep your brand name, you have to differentiate between
Yeah.
the sport because other people can make the same or similar equipment, so they have to call it something different. So
Yeah.
that's a round net set can be any brand.
Right. Okay. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is that why there's I've noticed a lot on Instagram. There's a lot of the pros out there are like putting round net in
Yes.
their tags.
Yes, yeah, so generally the company protects their trademark pretty strictly, I guess.
Yeah.
Like they'll
Yeah.
reach out to accounts and be like, hey, you can't use Spikeball in your account name, or clubs that, you know, like Baylor Spikeball. You
So
have to be
people were
Baylor
doing
Round Net.
that.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because if people are using spikeball as the name of the sport, then spikeball will again lose its name.
Yeah.
Because it has to be the sport.
Mhm.
So yeah, kind of complex, but
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
you
right.
can still play
Right.
spikeball if you're playing on a spikeball set,
Right.
or you can play bam ball or spider ball or
Yeah.
the other brand names,
Okay.
or you can play round net, which is the generic term for the
Gotcha.
sport. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Well, thank you for
Yeah.
the
The last
education.
distinction.
Yeah, that would be great. Now, Becca, you have a baby boy, is that right?
No,
No, sorry.
nope, neither of us have kids.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
That must have been a miss. I was looking at Instagram posts trying to just do some research.
Could have been my nephew.
Nephew. Okay, there you go. So you have a nephew.
I have a nephew.
All right, good
We
deal.
both have one nephew, actually.
Cross that off the list. Yeah.
All right. Now, both of your husbands play, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, are they any good?
Yes.
They're very good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fun fact, my husband is actually one of the guys that taught us at the music festival we went to.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's where we met, Joel and I.
Wow.
And he's been playing since 2011, I think.
Okay.
And was like a top 3 team in the nation
Yeah.
up until like 2017. And then started mixing it up, playing with different partners. And it's kind of semi-officially retired at this point.
Okay.
He was the women's head coach for the women's national team this year, so
That's
we got
cool.
to
Mhm.
play under him. So he does a lot of coaching, and it still enjoys being around the sport. Alli's husband Tom is the
Yeah.
#1 player in the UK.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so he's from the UK.
Okay.
I think his uncle gave him money to travel somewhere, anywhere in the world, when he was just fresh out of high school.
No way.
And so he chose to come to the US for the competitive round net scene. And so I met him at a tournament in Atlanta.
Cool.
Yeah, he was a physical therapist at the time,
Okay.
and I rolled my ankle, so it was just
Yeah.
bound to be.
Yeah, you couldn't write it any better.
You couldn't write it any better, although I was mad. I would have written it better. They would have won that tournament. But yeah, so he's highly competitive in Europe, but
Okay.
now he's based in the US, so he, I think, actually just retired after the World Championship.
Okay.
So yeah, they're more so fading out of the scene.
But still both very good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. for
Very
sure.
good.
Do you guys ever play against them as a team?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we play,
Yeah.
play all the time, mix
Nice.
it up. We often play against them.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it'd be tough for us to get a win against them, but
Yeah.
you know, it happens.
Yeah. It's good practice though.
It's
Good.
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 Yeah.
That's sweet.
Mhm.
Yeah, I imagine it's hard to find training partners. So it's kind of built in for you guys.
Yes. Yeah, we're very fortunate to
Yeah.
have some good people to practice and play with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we also have JMU, James Madison University, local in Harrisonburg. So occasionally we'll play with some of their better players, which is great. It's really important if you want to be a high competitor in round net to play a lot of different people to
Yeah.
get that variety in with serve receive and defense and that sort of thing. So yes, we have our built-in trainers and competitors as our husbands, but it's also really good to play with JMU people too.
Yeah.
Get a little bit more experience and variety.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine it probably helps being in a college town.
Yes.
To be able to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot of people with some extra time and
Yeah.
a little interest in the sport.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, RoundNet is huge on college campuses.
Yeah.
When we first started playing, when I would meet somebody and talk to them a little bit about spike ball, I'd ask, like, have you ever heard of spike ball? I think about a month ago I asked somebody that who's a college student. She was like, yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
It used to be almost always no.
Yeah.
That's what we were used to. But
I got some serious attitude. So yeah, it's huge in colleges, which is
I
great.
feel like 2015 to 2020 was like
Yes.
huge growth.
Yes.
Absolutely.
At least,
2020, absolutely.
and I'm consider myself one of the lucky people to have. We had a pro on campus
Okay.
Nice.
in Ryan.
Fitzgerald.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ryan
Messiah.
Fitzgerald.
Nice.
So he and I played club soccer together briefly
Okay.
That's
at
very
Messiah, and then I knew his now wife Dana.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he would get together with, I forget his partner's name. Maybe you
It
guys.
was Tyler Chiswick, and then it was Anthony Albino.
I don't remember which
and then
one.
it was Jarrett Raps.
Okay.
He's got a lot of
Gotcha.
games.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
all of them were very good.
Yes.
Yeah, one of them, I don't remember which, because we weren't super tight
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
age difference there. But yeah, one of them, the two of them started a like little club on campus,
Okay.
and
Oh, nice.
I remember going down. We had this little creek that ran through campus. I don't know if you guys ever been on.
I've
on
been there
site
like once or twice, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
little creek that runs through campus, and right across there's a little empty field. Sometimes the track team
Nice.
uses it for their thrower training,
Okay.
but they just had probably a dozen nets,
nice.
and
That's
just
awesome.
tons of people out
Yeah.
there. I mean, probably 50 people
That's great.
at once. I was like, holy smokes!
Yeah.
Like, this is a small school.
Yeah.
You got 2,000 people on campus and 50
get
of
that
them
many
right
out,
here. That's
yeah.
that's
Right,
pretty
that's
impressive.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
they had a
so
pretty
cool.
good thing going there.
Nice.
Nice.
And I was an RA. Some of the guys on campus who were on my floor were like, "Oh man, we gotta go learn from the spike ball pros." All right,
That's a good
let's
move.
do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's so fun.
So talk about. I'd love to hear you guys talk about like the experience in Belgium. Like what was that like? How did you first get there? What does it look like to qualify? And then what was that experience like?
Yeah, so I'll talk a little bit about the qualification process. Because this was the first year, there's a lot of shifting and kind of still figuring it out. So this year there initially was a qualifying tournament that you had to place top third. You had to get on the podium in order to qualify for a like skills camp where you'd go and play in front of the coaches, and then there would be a selection committee that would kind of rate all the players based on your finish and your that didn't end up happening. We went to the one qualifier happened, the East qualifier. We went and placed in the top third, so we would have qualified for the skills camp. But the West qualifier got canceled and the skills camp got canceled just because it was so expensive to travel. People just weren't able to swing it. They weren't able to go and play. So it was like we had to find a different way to qualify people. So I think they ended up doing just the selection committee and like taking your results from the season. And it's pretty clear who the top teams are in men's and women's, just from your results at tournaments throughout the season. So they ended up opening up like an application, and you just applied, and then the selection committee would look at all the applications, watch footage of all the players, and make a decision based on that.
Nice.
So yeah, we technically did half of the qualification process, and then were voted onto the team. In the future, it will probably look a little bit different because they're still ironing out what the best qualification process is. It also was pretty late this year. The teams weren't decided on until end of July, I think.
And
Or
Worlds
early
was in
August.
September.
Yeah, so like
So
a month and a half
We had
before.
then 2 months to book our flights and
Yeah.
everything, which
Yeah,
is
so I think
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
now that we have, there's a little bit more time until the next one, the process will probably look a little bit different, but that's the qualification
Cool.
process as of now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the key is that the sport is so developing. It's
Yeah.
very much in the developmental stage. So
Yeah.
everybody's learning
Yeah.
how to do this stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Once they have those processes in place,
Yeah.
it'll just be about small tweaks.
Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, do they know where the next one's happening?
No, I think they've opened up applications for hosts,
All right. Yeah.
but I don't think it's been decided yet.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty tough to find a place. Belgium was amazing. They found the perfect place. It was like similar to how you would dream an Olympic village would be. So there was a like main building where they served food, kind of like a college campus every day. And then there were bungalows that you could walk to, these
Sweet.
little A-frame cabins, or there was a variety of them where all the teams stayed together. So we got to stay with the rest of the Team USA women's team. And then the fields were right there, everything walking distance, 5-minute walk, which was just so cool.
That's sweet.
So it was an entire village competition.
We didn't leave that spot the whole week, or I guess it was a little bit less than a week, but for Joel and I, we came from the airport there and went from there back to the airport. We didn't do any extra sightseeing, but it was really cool to have everything there. You're with hundreds and hundreds of other players, staying really close, eating together, hanging out together. So it was that made it a really, really unique experience that felt,
that's awesome.
super special.
Yeah, amazing.
Very cool. I imagine something you won't forget.
Definitely not. Definitely
Literally
not.
never.
Yeah, it was I keep wanting to say a once in a lifetime experience. I hope it's not. I'd love to do it again. But
Exactly.
It felt like just a dream come true. I would have never imagined that it would be that awesome. But
That's
just
sweet.
being, I don't know, surrounded by so many people speaking different languages from all over the world that love the same sport and are just as excited to be there and represent their country and meet people. It was just really awesome.
Yeah.
Did they have translators on site for you guys?
They didn't. Nope. I think most people spoke English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most
Gotcha.
people I met a few people that spoke very little English, but enough, and they were with their teammates who, some of their teammates spoke English, so
Gotcha.
it wasn't, it wasn't a huge issue. I think that was the default.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Did we answer your questions about Worlds and that experience?
Yeah. How many teams were on Team USA? Or how many, duos were on Team USA?
Yeah, so the women's side of the sport is still really developing,
Yeah.
so the standards for the number of teams was a little bit lower so that more countries could participate.
Right.
So women's had 3 teams per country.
Great.
So we were part of a, 6-player squad, math.
Very cool.
And then men's, there were 5 teams for each country. And some countries, I think, only came with like 1 or 2 teams.
Okay.
There may have been a minimum to participate, so I might be wrong about that, but yeah, it was just cool to see countries kind of like scramble together what they had just to be at Worlds, just to represent their country.
That's
It
cool.
was so cool.
Yeah, I think most people had a full squad.
Yeah.
There were a few countries that didn't quite have a full squad, but
Yeah.
generally a full squad was 10 men's players and 6 women's players, and then each country had 1 mixed team. So that could either be from your already existing men's and women's squad or additional 2 players.
Yeah.
How did Team USA do that?
Team USA had players from each, so one of our 6 women's players and one of our 10 men's players were our mixed team.
Now, did either of you guys?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Point of contention, maybe.
We both would have loved to be on the mixed team, but there was a team that has played together several times this season in co-ed divisions that had a lot of success, and they absolutely made sense. They were the right choice, and they won.
sure.
So
They won.
you can't argue
There you
with
go.
that.
Yeah, you can't argue with the results.
Yeah, and the female player on the mixed team finished the whole tournament with a backhand serve, so like stepped out wide and then just ripped a backhand serve that the receiver didn't even touch.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I'm like, that's a tournament winner. I'm okay with her being on the team instead.
Yeah.
It was the right decision.
Yeah, she did it. She did it really well.
That's pretty sweet.
So, yeah, it was awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. How is the culture, like the round net culture in Belgium? Is there a pretty strong presence there?
So in Belgium itself, it's hard to tell because it was all we were just intermixed with round net cultures from all over the world. I think round net Belgium is a pretty good group, and they are known for organizing really good tournaments, which is why they were hosting the World Championship. The culture in general was just mind-blowing. Just the community and the excitement around the sport was like nothing I've ever seen. It was really inspiring. I don't know, coming from, I think US tournaments have become a little bit I don't know the right word for it.
Dull?
Yeah, that seems harsh, but
Huh.
it's kind of,
Complacent, maybe?
yeah, a little bit like you show up and you know a fair amount of people and you play and then, you know, it's over. There are a few people watching the finals, but the end, it just kind of, everybody goes their own way.
Yeah.
Whereas I think a lot of international communities have a much more like hype,
Yeah.
celebratory, like their tournaments are really important and everybody gets super excited and there's a lot more cheering, a lot more celebration. They do like award ceremonies, not just snap a quick podium pic and go get food. So all of that was, maximized at the World Championship, obviously. So
Absolutely.
I've never experienced anything like that because the end of U.S. tournaments is usually pretty anticlimactic.
Okay. So what did the award ceremony look like for you guys?
It was incredible. It was so they made a tunnel. So half
everybody
the people,
there.
half the people on one side, half the people on the other side. You stand at the end. Third place goes through first, and everybody's like starting with their hands down as you run past. They go woo! So everybody, it's just this like eruption as you run by.
That's
and you stand up. Winners give a speech. They give you a medal. They give you a
Champagne,
champagne.
Nice.
crowd surfing.
Yeah,
That's a thing that they do.
Crowd surfing. Was there anything else? I got people were putting their country stickers all over my jersey.
That's
So I came off with 4 or 5 stickers, and I'm like, oh, round net Netherlands, round net Sweden.
Yeah.
It was just so cool.
really, really cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It felt a lot more, obviously it's the World Championship, so it felt more important, but I've seen and been to some other international tournaments where this is more the norm, just making a big deal of, of the winners. And I think that's really cool, and I think something that U.S. tournaments are lacking, and it makes it feel a little bit, I don't know, it's just a good way to get everyone involved.
Right.
Make celebrating a fun thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there were some countries that even had specific cheers for specific players, which was just so cool. So there's this one girl named Laura from Switzerland, and we had her cheer in our head all weekend. They just go, Laura, 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 Laura. And they just keep doing it. So as she's running through this tunnel, they're singing that. She gets on stage and they sing that for her, and then her teammate too. Yeah. It's just incredible. Something she's never gonna forget.
That's sweet.
And we have it stuck in our heads, which means it's it's just an incredible cheer. Yeah. So the cost
simple, easy to remember.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we got it. Yeah. I don't quite have the rolled R down. I don't know what language they speak in Switzerland. Do you know?
Depends where you are.
Yeah, depends where you are.
Sometimes German, sometimes,
Anyway, I'll get it done sometime. But the culture, the country that comes to mind is Germany. They brought cars and cars and cars of people just to support.
Just to watch.
Just to
and
watch.
cheer.
They had
drums.
they had drums.
And,
So in the back of the
Nice.
stream, on the finals, the squad finals, the last day, it was totally foggy during the stream.
Yeah.
So we were playing in that, and it was just usually you can see the background, but it was just clouded out with fog. And then they had the Germans were just waving their flags in the background.
That's sweet.
So it was just a sheet of white in the background with German flags everywhere. People on the drums, their intensity was also there.
Oh, yeah.
So their players, when they did something cool, would often run up to the crowd and throw all their arms in the air.
Yeah.
Let's go.
a lot of crowd interaction.
Yeah.
So Germany, I think, won the hype award.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
That's
And
easy.
the US is just kind of standing there what do we do?
Yeah.
Do we have good cheers?
We don't have anything.
Yeah, it was also really expensive for fans to come travel
Right.
to Belgium, but some did it.
Yeah.
There's a guy
There you
named
go.
Dennis who I've been watching film back, and I just hear him over and over again. Alli, let's go! Which is just so
Yeah.
cool.
You love to hear it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so much commitment from
That's
the fans,
sweet.
So
Yeah.
it was amazing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, we could talk a lot about the vibe at
Yeah.
Worlds, but it was something
Please
we'll
do.
never forget for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
Anything you want to add to the Belgium culture or the vibe?
My.
Hey.
It's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard to convey.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that we pretty much summed it up. I
Okay.
think. The play was just a different level. But
Yeah.
There you go. Very
Yeah.
cool. Now, so you guys got your first national title in 2016, right?
Mhm.
And now first world title 2022, right?
Mhm.
So, how did COVID affect like how you guys were training, how many competitions you were playing. Did you even get to play during 2020?
Yeah. So let's see, 2019 we split up. We played with different teammates.
I often refer to this as a round net breakup
Or
because
round net
it sounds often like we're in a relationship. We
Yeah.
broke up for a year,
Yeah.
now we're back together.
It was totally mutual.
It was mutual.
And totally, friendly.
Drama free.
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Good.
So we played with different teammates for 2019, and then we were also living in different states. So Alli was still living in Pennsylvania, and I
Okay.
was living here in Harrisonburg.
Yeah.
Right.
So we didn't practice a whole lot together during that time. Even in 2018, we didn't play together a whole lot other than tournaments. And then 2020, I guess the main thing was I tore my ACL at the very beginning of 2020,
Oh, okay.
actually here on that field.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So I had surgery in early 2020, like right before the pandemic, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Alli got married
Mm-hmm.
in early 2020 in Wales,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
and you were over there for 6 months.
Yeah. Well, once the pandemic hit, then I was able to stay for longer.
Yeah.
So I think the silver lining is that the pandemic was amazing for us because we would have had to take a break because you were recovering from your ACL tear and
Yes.
surgery.
Yeah.
I had just gotten married and we were working on green card stuff, so
Okay, yeah.
I would have had to choose between round net and living with my husband, which
Oh,
I think I probably would have given it to the husband there. So
Yeah,
I would have had a rough season.
Yeah, if there would have been a season in 2020, we probably wouldn't have played.
Yes.
Okay.
So
so it kind of worked out.
the pandemic was not great, but for our round net
Yes.
careers, we didn't have to miss a season technically. That being said, there were a lot of people that played all throughout 2020, and there
Okay.
were lots of tournaments. There was just
Good.
no official tour series,
Yeah.
so we did miss out on a lot, and we've came back. I feel like feeling pretty rusty in 2021 and
Mhm.
several steps behind.
Mhm.
So it was 2021 was a little bit of a struggle, just kind of trying to catch up to
Yeah.
people who had been playing for a year when we weren't playing at all.
Mhm.
So 2021 we played a little bit. I think we did 5 tournaments, maybe,
Yeah.
including nationals.
Yeah.
So it wasn't, which we used to, play 12 or 15 in a season. So we were kind of easing back into it.
Yeah.
And then this past year we did as much as we could, and we're still catching up a little bit, but
Yeah.
I mean, I
probably
wouldn't say you're still
10
catching up. Clearly you're not.
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
quite where we want to be, but
No.
we're getting
Yeah, we
Yeah.
won the world championship, but we have some other tournaments to win in the U.S.
Yeah.
too.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
for our listeners, you were just out there, what, for 2 hours?
Yeah.
Just drilling,
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
it takes.
Yeah,
We gotta
working
get
on your game.
polished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now, how often do you guys train roughly at this point?
Yeah, it's kind of week to week. I would say probably on average twice a week, maybe once a week.
Yeah, probably only once a week. I think so.
Okay.
But maybe, actually, you've been training more than I have recently.
Yeah. Well,
So-
you were away for a little while.
Yeah.
It really depends, but depending
Yeah.
on the weather. Like this summer, we probably averaged twice a week because
Yeah.
we play pickup and the tournaments on weekends and that sort of thing. We're
Yeah.
both relatively busy, so it is hard to fit it in
Yeah.
sometimes. So
For sure.
Yeah, it's also hard at this stage. We're not really making any money
Right.
around that. I think I might make $1,000 this year once you
Okay.
subtract all the travel and stuff.
Okay.
So it's
Right.
really hard to justify spending a lot of time on
Yeah.
RoundNet at age 27
Yeah.
when there are other responsibilities and priorities in my
Yeah.
life.
For sure.
So yeah, it's a balance where I love the sport. Money doesn't actually mean that much to me, but also it's important to be
You gotta
working
live.
hard,
Yeah.
taking care of my house, saving for retirement,
Yeah.
investing in my relationships, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
For sure.
it's a toss up. I'd love to be training every day and for this to be my full-time thing, but
Right.
it's just
Not
not,
there yet.
not feasible yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You haven't gotten that full round net sponsorship,
Not
that
yet.
full spike ball
Not yet.
sponsorship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
someday.
that's the future, I think.
Yeah.
but we're
You
just
hear
not
that,
there
spike
yet.
ball?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Now, Becca, is it you that is part owner of an inn, local inn? Can you
Yes.
talk about that and how you
Yeah.
got into that?
Yeah, so my husband and I own the Friendly City Inn Bed and
Okay.
Breakfast right near downtown. We bought it in 2019, so
Okay.
we moved here in 2018, and I was working in the hospital in town. And then
What were you doing at the hospital?
I'm a registered dietitian.
Okay,
So I
very
started
nice.
outpatient nutrition counseling, yeah. And yeah, we got to know the previous owner of the bed and breakfast who had closed it a year and a half prior, and yeah, it just kind of looked like a good opportunity, something that we were interested in. I wasn't planning to stay at my job for super long, so we decided to give it a go. So yeah, we bought it and reopened it in August of 2019 and have been running that ever since. So that's my main full-time thing. We also own some rental properties and run a few Airbnbs and do lots of other random things. But that's my main thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And does he have a main thing, like other than
Yes.
so other than the rental properties and
Yes.
the inn?
So as of now, no. He
Okay.
did work for Spikeball for 9 years.
Okay,
and,
gotcha.
yeah, up until a few months ago. And now he's just doing, managing the business end of things and
Okay.
rental properties. And
Yeah, I mean that is a lot.
It is. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. We always have our toes in a lot of different buckets.
Yeah.
But
Very
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
And Alli, what are you up to?
Yeah, before I get into that, Becca is very humble. She's a very talented breakfast chef at the Friendly
Alright.
City Inn. The building itself was also kind of like, I wouldn't say run down when you guys bought it, but it was like outdated.
Yeah.
The designs were outdated, lots of maroon and gray, things that didn't go very well. And now the place is looking amazing.
Oh,
A lot of
thanks.
black and gray, you know.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it looks sharp. And then breakfast, I'll often ask Beck, what's for breakfast this morning? And she'll answer something that I don't even understand. Like, it's so fancy that I'm like, okay. So things like frittata.
It's a work in progress.
What else? What else are you making?
All kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, you
anyway.
got, as an RD, a registered dietitian, you have
Yeah.
some formal training in.
Yeah,
All of
yeah,
that.
some, I've always enjoyed cooking, so
Yeah.
it's a hobby. But
Very cool.
yeah,
It's just a very cool place that you guys really did well to bring to life. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's sweet.
Yeah,
Fun-
Friendly
fun
City Inn is a
adventure.
great place to stay. So I'm on my own business adventure
Okay.
for the first time ever. So I spent 4 years working at a counseling center.
Yeah.
I was in the media department doing a lot of, I was editing books and managing social media and managing like professional communication with doctors in the counseling center. So
Okay.
that was really great, but yeah, it just didn't feel like my long-term thing. So I quit that a couple years ago and am now just starting my own business. It's
Okay.
called Media Lark. And the big thing that I'm doing is designing websites for small businesses. And then also I've tagged on the side some brand design, including logo design, which my sister is an artist, so
Okay.
she is the core brand designer.
That's sweet.
And then I work alongside her to make sure that we pull a really good product together. And
Yeah.
then we also do some social media support. And so that's just in the beginning stages. I came up with the idea earlier this year, and so it's almost been a full year later, and I'm still just getting started. But
Yeah, I mean that's
yeah.
a long.
It's
It's a long process. You're
Yeah.
always developing.
Yeah, and it is, Rounda is time consuming, so, and emotionally consuming, and I'll often come back from tournaments feeling exhausted for 3 days, which
Right.
is really hard to be an entrepreneur and, well, kind of an entrepreneur and recovering from Rounda and
Yeah.
a lot of Rounda
Yeah.
when my body and mind are just exhausted.
I'm sure.
So,
Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
it's as mentally exhausting as it
Yeah.
is physically.
it is. It's
demanding.
a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Goes into even just the travel and then
Yeah.
the social aspect. We're always meeting and interacting
Yeah.
with tons of people. High pressure competition. Usually like packing travel in short weekends where you're not eating great and traveling a lot and not getting
Mhm.
great sleep. And
Right.
you come back and you have to play catch up for a few days.
Yeah, we've also been in the Rounda community for, 7-ish years now.
Right.
So some of our best friends are people that we only see, twice a year at tournaments. So
Yeah.
we're also trying to cram in time with this friend and that
Right.
friend, and it's just,
Get as much as
it's
you
a lot.
can
Yeah.
when you're together.
Yeah. But we obviously love it
Yeah.
and wouldn't trade it for anything. So
Yeah.
it's worth it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned there was a time where you were here in Harrisonburg and you were still in Lancaster,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So, how did you first come to the area? You can talk about that,
Yeah.
and then you can talk about.
Yes, so I got a job at the hospital. That's what brought us here
Okay.
originally. My husband and I were living in Pennsylvania, and I was had finished college and my post-grad degree, and we were looking for somewhere else to go, somewhere not too far. Both of our families live in Pennsylvania, so we kind of wanted to stay somewhat close to family, but move somewhere different. And we had been to the area a few times. I have a cousin who's a professor at JMU, so we were somewhat familiar with the area. And I was looking for jobs in Charlottesville and Tennessee and kind of around this area. And a job came up here, and we decided to pack up and move, and we never looked back.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So you did have some family,
Yes, I have
ties to the
one
area.
cousin that's here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You guys pretty close?
Yeah, so he has 3 kids, my wife, and yeah, we spent a good bit of time with them.
Okay.
So it was really nice to have someone we knew when we moved to town.
Yeah, because that's hard, just uprooting for a job.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
It's, God bless them for doing it.
Yeah, it's challenging, but we're really glad we did. We found a great friend group here, and really loved Harrisonburg's home now.
Good.
But,
Good. And then Alli, how, was your coming here just related to Becca being here?
A lot to do with Becca. That's
Okay.
something I've been, joking about recently is I have this tendency that I hate, but I've been following Beck around. She's been making great decisions, and then I just tag on. So college, Beck decided first, and then I visited and was like, actually, I think this is kind of right for me too. And and then Harrisonburg as well, you came first, and I didn't have any intention in moving here. But then,
you have to blame it on our husbands too. Our husbands are really good friends as well, and they knew each other before Alli and Tom knew each other. So it's kind of the 4 of us are great friends, and all love playing around it, and we have a lot of things in common, and they actually came and stayed with us during COVID for a few months once they got back from Wales. So in the thick of it, when it was like lockdown, instead of living with Alli's parents, they came down and lived with us. And I think that was your first exposure to Harrisonburg. So we knew that we liked living in the same area, and you guys seem to enjoy this area in particular. So it wasn't just
No, it's not just it, but it is a huge what's the word? I don't know. Just a huge pull. Because I think it's not often that you have a friendship where all 4 people love all 4 people and get along really well. It's like, it would be really normal and okay if Beck and I got along really well, but our husbands were just kind of like, we get along, it's fine. So the fact that all 4 of us are really good friends is huge.
That's a huge plus.
And then also Harrisonburg is awesome.
Yes.
I really love it.
Absolutely.
I love the easy access to mountains and beautiful spaces. We both live pretty much right downtown on Broad Street, and I love just walking everywhere. Walking to ice cream, walking to the library, walking pretty much the only places we drive to are church and here. So,
maybe groceries.
Oh yeah, groceries too. You can drive to get groceries. So I just love everything is compact, and it's a really great place to live.
Well, I think we're pretty close to wrapping up.
Nice.
Covered, just about everything I wanted to cover. Do you guys have anything you want to add? Any final words of encouragement, for young ladies trying to get into around that? What would you tell them?
Yes, we do have that. We have lots. I think the biggest thing that we often encourage other women who are interested is to sign up for a tournament. It's tough. It's feels like a big barrier when you don't feel like you're very good and you don't really know what the competition level will be at the tournament. You don't know anyone that's going to be there. But the Round Net community is really awesome. So if there are, you're guaranteed to meet other people that care about you and want to help you improve. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to get better a lot faster than you would if you play with your friend group that's a similar skill level to you. So even if you get beat really badly the whole day, you'll probably still have fun and you'll learn a lot and be better. So that's something that, I try to encourage people to do is just find a tournament close to you, sign up, see what happens, don't be embarrassed. Just, I don't know, deal with it lightly. It's not, you don't have to be number 1 in the world right away. It's the growing process is fun too. And just be confident. It's easy to feel lack of confidence because it's a newer sport, but the fact is it's a newer sport and everybody's still learning. So just get out there and try some new things.
I think I love to encourage pretty much anybody to get into Round Net or get into sports in general, but especially Round Net because it is like it has built so many good, healthy, needed things in me.
Yeah.
Like, it really challenged my confidence, because you have to be confident when you're serving 19-20 game point. You have to do something if you want the game, and
Pressure's on.
yeah, pressure's on. It taught me to eat healthy.
Yeah.
Initially, I wasn't eating too much, and I wasn't feeling well. I couldn't focus. I was like, "What's the problem?" But there's a culture of under eating, especially with women. So
Yeah.
once you get into sports, you're challenged to actually learn how to eat well and eat more and eat a lot sometimes.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that's
Most
really well.
athletes, and I'm sure
Yeah.
you can attest to this, most athletes undereat
Yeah.
profoundly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it affects your performance,
Oh,
your
yeah.
focus. Yeah.
It bugs the heck out of me.
Yeah.
I'll have
It's not
somebody come
great.
into a training session, and they're like, I'm like, did you eat breakfast today? And it's like 10:30,
Yeah.
noon.
Yeah.
And they're like, nope, haven't eaten anything.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you, your body
Weird
needs energy.
cultural. Yeah. Weird
Yeah.
cultural.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have a hard time thinking of food as energy.
Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tough. I think it's also tough because you can function without eating breakfast,
yeah.
to your example.
Yeah.
But once you start routinely eating breakfast, I would be surprised if you don't feel so much better.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and have way more energy.
Yeah.
So,
You know, and there's
yeah.
exceptions to the rule,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Intermittent fasting and other
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
You know, we won't get too much into that. That's another
Yeah,
podcast
another
for
day.
another day.
Yeah. Another podcast.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so many valuable lessons that Roundnet has
Mhm.
taught me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the friends and the diversity included in Roundnet, just meeting people from now all over the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so healthy and incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Very
So,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's inspiring, and it's a really good place to be. So, no matter like how new you are, or how bad you think you are around that, it's so worth it. Like Beck said, to just go to a tournament, maybe lose all your games, but you're gonna learn to do a couple things better, and yeah, and that's so valuable.
Yeah.
And hopefully you'll keep coming back to tournaments and
Yeah.
yeah. Can we plug our Instagram? So
Absolutely.
anybody who has questions or wants to go to a tournament, you don't know how to get connected, you can just reach out to us. We'd be happy to talk to you. So our Instagram is gr_roundnet. Yeah, send us a DM or anything.
Yeah,
We'd love to talk to you.
Yeah, and we'll throw the Friendly City Inn
Sure.
Yeah,
in,
do
the, in
Yeah.
the description, so
Yeah.
people can see all those
Come visit.
wonderful meals
Yeah.
and the new decorations.
Yeah.
So
It's so
Yes.
good.
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I
Yeah.
appreciate
Yeah,
you
thanks
guys.
for having
Appreciate
us.
your time.
Yeah.
Of course. Happy
Sure.
to do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy on the first ever podcast.
All right, you heard it here.
Thank you guys for tuning in and listening. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe.